energetic, passionate, and savvy. Gouche Live, brought to you by the good people at the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Gouche.
Yes, it is. I just wanted to show you our new logo. It's called The Locker Room at the Bottom Line, and we're so excited to bring you this show live at the Bottom Line studio. It's called The Locker Room. And I'll tell you what you see behind us. We built up an incredible locker room just for you. I've got the original 6 teams, if you don't already know it: Detroit Red Wings, Boston Bruins, Montreal Canadiens, New York Rangers, and, of course, the Toronto Maple Leafs with those Chicago Blackhawks. Hey, there's lots of information. Barry Trotz has said he will not coach this year, so he's told the Winnipeg Jets, don't count on me, look for another coach, because I will not be coaching this year. I'll tell you what, that's devastating, because I really felt that he was going to be the next coach for the Winnipeg Jets, and unfortunately, that will not happen. But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of breaking news, as you already know. Barry Trotz, as I mentioned to you, has made it official. He will not be coaching this year. He's taking a year off. But then you look at, obviously tonight, if the Toronto Maple Leafs are obviously reeling with that incredible news with Austin Matthews winning those awards. What a great moment for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now over this offseason, I hope they put together a plan that they can build a team that will vie for the Stanley Cup, just like the Tampa Bay Lightning and, of course, the Colorado Avalanche going up against it tonight. Another breaking news is the Blackhawks are very close to signing Luke Richardson. That would be a huge loss for the Montreal Canadiens, but for Luke Richardson, it is well-deserved. He should be ready to go. What will happen in this offseason with the Edmonton Oilers? We will have Gene Principe join us in the next couple of weeks to talk about, obviously, what's going to go on. Goaltending situation, what are they doing with defense? And, of course, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl said this year was their year, so next year has to be all about them. And, of course, the Canucks have added Dale Talon as a senior advisor and pro scout, which is really important because this team, the Vancouver Canucks, really need to do some changes so that they can get back into an opportunity of vying for the playoffs and going deep in them. Listen, I think it's really important to understand tonight Tampa Bay going up against the Colorado Avalanche. I got a chance to call my good friend, Phil Pritchard. I went into the Hockey Hall of Fame today with a young boy from Sydney, Australia, with his mother, and his cousin. It was his 12th birthday. And I walked through it, and I wanted to show off a little bit and show him that I had won an Allen Cup, and we couldn't find it. Do you know why? Because it's in the Memorial Cup zone in Nova Scotia, and I'm so excited that the Allen Cup is not in the hall, but it's traveling, and I got my name on it. So I was trying to show off and think, hey, I got a cup in the hall, and of course it didn't look good. But after talking to Phil Pritchard, he told me what went on with the cup, and he tells me he's ready to hand out the Stanley Cup tonight. He's not predicting whether or not Colorado will hoist the cup tonight, or will he have to travel back to Tampa Bay for Game 6? Game 5 tonight is going to be electric. Tampa Bay on one hand, it's do or die. For Colorado Avalanche, that 4th game, it's an elusive game. It's the toughest game to win. It's the toughest game to close out a series. But I'll tell you what, they are determined. And, of course, the situation is going to be, can Vasilevsky be the key guy in this series now? If he can play out of his mind, which he's known to do, the Tampa Bay Lightning still have a chance. I'm predicting this is not over. Why? Take a peek at this. If we look at the stats for tonight, which I think is really important, the Tampa Bay Lightning have not been the Tampa Bay Lightning through this playoffs that we thought they would be. 3.05 goals for. When you compare that to the Colorado Avalanche, 4.59 goals per game. So obviously the offensive prowess of the the Colorado Avalanche has been predominant in this series. And they've been getting goal scoring from everybody. All 4 lines have contributed. Of course, we know Nazem Kadri was outstanding scoring that goal in overtime. Again, I'm going to call it the I'm not sure, the too many men gate, almost like Watergate, too many men gate. Let's get rid of that. It was a judgment call. It wasn't made. Move forward. It is now 3-1 for the Colorado Avalanche, and they have a chance to shut it out. What do they need to do that? I'll tell you that in a second. What do the Tampa Bay Lightning need to do to hold on and get to a game 6? Because every time you keep the door open, you have a chance to win, especially if Tampa Bay goes home to Tampa. I do not believe they're going to lose again there. Hey, look at, got some comments coming in. Robert Wine, awesome, you're on. And I have my earpiece on. Hey, Gouche, go get him. Thanks, Peter, all the way from Melbourne. Peter, got some great news, did some great work over the last couple of days on our concept. I will be calling you right after the show and we can discuss it a little bit. And I'm certainly excited about that. You know what? I'm playing shotgun, yes, with myself. Nobody's here to help me tonight. The sheriff tried to make it in. Too much traffic in downtown Toronto. Things are crazy. And of course, Jordan is taking the weekend off. His girlfriend, Claire, is graduating from London. So we're allowing him a weekend off. So you've only got the Gouche. I think I can handle it. I'm looking at some comments coming in, so please send in your comments. Talk to me a little bit here. I want to hear from you, just as Wayne Cowley just said. Gouche, Avs or Tampa? Thank you for sending that in. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. Kevin Shade popping in. I'm around the corner. May I come by and say hello? Not on air. You're always welcome to come on and say hello, but you have to come on air if you walk in the studio. Kevin Shea, love him. Great job doing so much great work. He's not only an author, but he's an absolute hockey historian. Kevin Shea, a big, huge Toronto Maple Leaf, and I know he's got to be ecstatic about what went on with Austin Matthews and his 3 trophies that he collected this year. I'll get an opportunity to talk to him one day about that and how important it is for the psyche of the Toronto Maple Leafs. They haven't got out of the first round, but they have an elite player. Some people call him a superstar. I'm not yet anointing him a superstar until he gets them out of the first round and, of course, maybe hoisting a Stanley Cup, and I could see him doing that. Let's go back to Tampa Bay and Colorado. I mentioned about goals for. Goals against, pretty much equal. And I'll tell you what, you got to look at this Colorado Avalanche team with their goaltending duo. They have done a very, very good job. And you know why? Because they only sit with 2.88 goals against. And when you look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, 2.70, and we know that's all about Vasilevsky. If he plays the way he can, and he determines that he's going to shut down this Colorado Avalanche team, look at, this is going to game 6. And I predicted right from day one, it will go to game 7, and then it's a coin toss on who wins it. Here's another very important stat that a lot of people don't understand, maybe why the Colorado Avalanche are on the brink of winning a Stanley Cup. They haven't won it since the last time Ray Bourque lifted it. What a special moment. I was absolutely in tears because Ray Bourque deserved it, obviously leaving the Boston Bruins to hoist that Stanley Cup was something remarkable. And because the hockey news has been so great with us, I know Stephen Ellis is having trouble flying tonight, and I'm wondering if he's in Colorado for this big game tonight at the Ball Arena. I'd like to hear that. Obviously, we'll hear if you are going to be there or not. And if you are, when you get out tomorrow, we'll get on the show and we'll talk a little bit about Game 5. Is it Game 5? Is it over? Or will we see Game 6? I want Game 6. I'm selfish. I want more ice hockey, and I'm sure you do too. All right, let's go to this stat. This stat is the one that really shows that the Tampa Bay Lightning have to stay disciplined tonight. The power play for the Colorado Avalanche is 33.9. That is amazing. That is a very strong power play. And you know what? Nathan MacKinnon's not the answer right now. They're getting goals from everywhere. So that's the important part of when you try to win a Stanley Cup. It's not only your best players have to be your best players, your lower players, your players on the 3rd and 4th line also have to be your best players. And we're certainly seeing that from the Colorado Avalanche. Listen, Nathan Nazem Kadri. Let's think about that for a second. It was an injury that we thought he would not come back from. We thought maybe he would get back game 6, even game 7. We talked to Lucky the other day. He told us this kid is all about determination. This kid is all about discipline. This kid is all about winning. This kid is all about his teammates, and he proved that. That overtime goal is as nice of any overtime goal I've seen, not only this year, last year, and probably in the last 10 years. It was absolutely epic. The Tampa Bay Lightning power play with Kucherov, Stamkos, obviously Point is hurt, Hedman on the back end is only at 20% through this playoff. That is the determining factor right now in this series. If the Tampa Bay Lightning don't stay out of the box, and when they do get a chance on a power play, don't score, it's over, it's done. My buddy Phil Pritchard with his white gloves will be walking on the Bell Arena tonight, handing the trophy over to Nathan MacKinnon to pass it through the whole teams. I'll tell you what's really exciting is I don't know if my good friend Lucky got down there. If he is down there, I want him to report tomorrow about how cool it would be. Can you imagine the Stanley Cup being raised by Nazem Kadri? How do you feel as a Leaf fan? Tyler Bozak did it. So I'm really concerned about it. And I'll tell you, in the house right now is Kevin Shea. He's going to stand right beside me. Kevin, get in here, buddy. I am so blessed to have a good friend, Kevin Shea. I knew that, unfortunately, we tried to get the sheriff in. Come on over, bud. I tested negative, so come on in.
Whenever you come to a
Here
party,
he is. You bring the what?
whenever you come to a party, you have to bring a gift. Here
Kevin
you go.
Shea, that is absolutely. Thank you for that.
There
Listen,
you go.
We got a few minutes with you, if you don't mind.
I'm embarrassed, but sure.
You're not embarrassed. You shouldn't be embarrassed. Listen, John LaRoche comes in here saying Tampa have all the tools to win their best on nights like tonight. Before I talk to you about Austin Matthews, because I know you want to talk about Austin Matthews, and I got some questions for you,
Sure.
if you don't mind. First, I want to ask you, obviously, let's put that up again, John LaRoche. Jordan had to take the weekend off.
Yep.
His girlfriend is graduating.
Oh,
Congratulations
fantastic.
to Claire.
Good for him. And her,
well, he
obviously.
did.
No, good for him to have the night off. Good for her to graduate.
Well,
That's
and I
great.
need him. Obviously, this is a one-man show. And so the guy, this is fantastic. So here's the question. You've been watching this series.
Sure.
It's been kind of a different type of series because we got two of the best teams, well-deserved to be where they are. Tampa Bay going for a three-peat, which has not been done since.
Oh, boy. I would have to think the New York Islanders
I
in
thought
the
that
early
too, but then
80s.
somebody said the Edmonton Oilers.
That's right. They followed. Well,
I don't know. You're the hockey story. Make me look good. All right, doesn't matter. But what's really important here is that the Tampa Bay Lightning are on the verge of going home.
doing something unprecedented, either one way or the other.
Right. And you know what? Phil Pritchard, I had a chance to talk to him.
Oh, did
I
you?
went into the hall today. I had this young boy here from Australia. I actually met him on the flight coming back.
Oh, jeez.
He had his hockey bag. I said, what are you doing? I'm going to hockey school up in Muskoka. So I needed to say, what are you doing? Come on over the hall. It was his birthday today, so I took him in the hall. And I wanted to show him the LA Cup, which I won in 1980.
I know, exactly.
It's not there.
Oh, it's at the Resource Center now?
No, it's in for the Memorial Cup.
Right, down east.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Sorry.
They stole my cup.
That's right. You're
So
right.
I'm trying to brag to this kid and his mother and his cousin. It didn't look good.
You should have,
Yeah,
should
sure,
have shown
but-
him your other cup that you
But-
donated. Never mind.
Jockstrap. All right, listen, before we get going into a couple of these comments, of course, Shane, thank you. Looking forward to the game, watching in Australia.
Wow.
Go Avs.
I got to be honest with you. Got to be candid with you.
Okay, let's hear it.
I want Colorado to win
Oh, my God, why is that?
because I just think they're new. Tampa's already won it twice. They certainly know how to win it. They've certainly demonstrated that. Look at what they've come through to get where they are right now. But I just wanted a new winner this year. I just think it would be wonderful for the game. I'd like to see Nathan MacKinnon win the Stanley Cup as well. So I'm leaning towards Colorado, although I don't have any horse in the game. Whoever wins, and that'll be great. But I am leaning towards Colorado.
We are with Kevin Shea, arguably one of the top hockey historians in the world. and more importantly, a good friend. So I got to ask you this: you bleed blue and white.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've got a copy of your book. You know I don't read very good, so I'm on, I think, chapter 2. You also gave me a really cool book for your birthday, which, again, I think I'm on chapter 1.
Yeah. That was a fun one. Yeah,
But I need it. I need it in crayons. Like, honestly, can you not help me out a little bit
I
here?
wish there were more pictures. I'm sorry, man. Jeez.
All right, so I got to ask you this. We're bouncing around a little bit, but I got to ask you this question. You want the Colorado Avalanche to win. Is there any kind of feeling that it's because of Nazem Kadri? Because there are some people that have said, Nazem was kind of, did some crazy things in Toronto. He went to Colorado, and under Joe Sakic, it seems like he's got him playing the best of his ability. He gets hurt. We don't think he's going to be playing in the finals, and he scores an absolutely, forget the too many in the ice gate.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what it is? The Stanley Cup playoffs elicit so many different storylines, and they're all fantastic, and they're all amazing, and Nazem Kadri is just one of them. Here's a guy who looked like he was down for the count, but you know darn well that he would do anything to play in the Stanley Cup final, if nothing else, just to say he played in it. Sure enough, I'm sure they've got it all packaged up and ready to go, and he must have been well enough. He certainly skated for a couple of practices. He steps on the ice. Wouldn't you know, who scores the winning goal? Nazem Kadri.
And it was a great move. Honestly.
It really
it wasn't one of those goals where you're thinking in the overtime it's going to go off somebody's bum. It was actually a very good goal.
Terrific
so
goal.
I now have to ask you this, as you being a Toronto Maple Leaf fan. Does it hurt you a little bit that he's going to actually raise the cup?
No, not at all.
Because Tyler Bozak did it too. Well,
sure.
He wasn't a Leaf.
Well, he was at one point.
But he wasn't a Leaf raising the cup.
Oh, yeah. No, I just figure, I'd love the Toronto Maple Leafs to win the cup, and hopefully one of these seasons soon, please.
How many years has it been?
Oh, my God. What is it, 57?
All right, so there's some positive.
No, 55.
Carry the count.
Yeah,
carry the
there
one.
are.
So there's some positive stuff in the Leafs nation.
Yeah,
of course.
55 is a real positive count, Kerry. Jeez.
No, but obviously Austin Matthews.
Yes, sure.
I got to say, I've been hard on him. I'm not really overly excited about the way he handles himself off the ice, but that's me. No denying that this guy is an elite player. I'm going to ask you this question. Is he a superstar right now? Because that's the debate right now. Some are saying he's a superstar. I'm of the opinion he is definitely a star. You get superstar status when it's long in your career and you take your team into the next round. Then somebody says, but it's a team game. But that's what leaders do. That's what superstars do. They put the team on their back and they score a goal in Game 7 to take them in to the next round.
Well,
I'd like to hear your opinion.
I can't deny that at all. But since he came into the league, he's been the best Toronto Maple Leaf. If it wasn't for those 2 abbreviated seasons, he would have scored 50 goals in each of those. He's been the leading goal scorer in the league the last 2 seasons, 60 this year in a season where nobody came close to that. So, you can't deny that, if nothing else, he's a superstar for a half dozen seasons or whatever.
For the Toronto Maple Leafs.
For the Toronto Maple Leafs.
But he's a superstar for the league right now.
I think you're right. I think he has to prove it a little bit longer term.
Yeah.
But I think that he certainly is well on his way to doing exactly that. He certainly benefited from having Mitch Marner on his wing as well. And Mitch became a first-team All-Star.
Batman and Robin. That's
in many ways. Both of them are first-team All-Stars, which is pretty amazing. And glad to see that Marner was recognized that way, too. What a season he had. So we've got a terrific first line. Austin well on his way to being the greatest Leaf of all time, if he's not already that.
Carol Sittler's jersey's right behind us.
Oh, God, as long as he's not. Yeah.
Dougie Gilmore's right there, too.
My God, I'll get a skate in the shoulder.
All right, listen, before I let you go, I got to ask you a couple more questions because I got you here. Let's go to the Tampa Bay Lightning, of course, against the Avalanche tonight. You've seen it many times where our buddy Phil Pritchard. The best commercial ever for the Hockey Hall of Fame is when Phil Pritchard's sitting on the toilet and he's reading the newspaper with his gloves. How great was that one?
That was pretty wild, no doubt about it. But
did you come up with that?
No, God, no.
Peter Jagla? Is that it?
No, a marketing agency did that, and that was great. And Phil was a good soul to play along with it as well. Going to be something a little bit different if tonight is the night, or if they go so far as Sunday. But Phil Pritchard has been the perennial carrier of the Stanley Cup, and it's usually been Craig Campbell.
Right.
And Craig has got some family commitments. He's not able to do it this year. So
Mike Bolt?
Mike Bolt.
Mike Bolt.
There we are.
Do you know what? I met Mike Bolt. I travel the world, and I met Mike Bolt. They'd lost the cup. And it was one of those things that they were trying to find it to get it to an event somewhere. It was spectacular. We're standing in Air Canada for the Las Vegas, and the guy, Michael, goes up and says, "Excuse me, we've lost the cup." And the guy, "What do you mean? The Stanley Cup." It was bizarre. There's got to be more stories than that. I know Kid Rock had it on the beach once.
Oh, he did with Pamela Anderson as well.
Missing.
The very, very first time I ever was able to take the Stanley Cup out, I lost it. The very first time. I was going to...
Well, and the last time.
Well, probably so. I was going to St. John's, Newfoundland. I get it there. It looks great. I take it to the most easterly part of Canada. There's a place called Shea Heights, and I took it there, my last name being Shea, so it was appropriate. Got lots of pictures. All was time to go, and we load the Stanley Cup into the plane. I see it on the plane. I find my seat and relax. Get to Toronto from St. John's. No cup. I'm freaking, so I go to, like Mike did, I go to the counter and I whisper, "Excuse me, I can't find the Stanley Cup." "What's that?" "I can't find the..." "Hey, this guy lost the Stanley Cup!" It's like, oh, God.
But you didn't lose your job.
No. I called Phil Pritchard right away, and he said, "Look, just come back. They'll courier it to us." I said, "There's no way I am leaving here until I've got the Stanley Cup case in my hands." So I waited. In fact, I called back to Air Canada and said, "I wonder if you can trace the Stanley Cup for me." They said, "Look, we're not FedEx, pal." I said, No, I know, but I'm just concerned that I was on the flight. I saw it get on the plane, and it didn't make it.
Yeah.
So sure enough, they called back, and they found out that the plane was too heavy. They had to take off the heaviest things, the Stanley Cup, and a guy with a nice sharpening machine. One of the trainers was on this machine. Yes, skate sharpening machine. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, we're both taken off. So we waited. It wasn't on the next flight. Finally, about 9 o'clock that night, and it was supposed to be at like 10 o'clock that morning, finally I see it all by itself on the conveyor belt going around. And thank goodness.
Probably came in first class.
I don't know about that, but I went to the folks and said, "Look, how can this possibly happen?" They said, "Well, it's not like the Stanley Cup has never been seen by other people before. Come with me." We went to the back. Every single kiosk there had a picture of somebody holding the Stanley Cup. Oh
my God. Yes. That's not supposed to happen.
I know.
Okay, you should be fired. Hey, listen, I'm going to tell one story just as I let you go. I'm not sure it was you. It could have been Ronnie. I got the Lady Bing. I think it was you that helped me get. We had the Lady Bing, and they couldn't stay. You couldn't stay, or Phil. Somebody couldn't stay. So I had to take the Lady Bing home. We're in a hotel room, and I put it in bed with me. And Tony was with me, and Tony's just the greatest girl in the world. Oh, yeah. So I'm laying in bed, and she's doing a video, and I said, "I finally have a lady in my bed."
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was bad. Bad joke.
Very good.
All right, here's a prediction.
All right, let's see.
I want a prediction. Your thought. Oh, look at that. I got us off screen. I want to hear from you tonight. Is it over for sure?
In my opinion, it is. It's my hope anyway. I don't know if it's a full-on prediction. It wouldn't bother me to go to Game 7 because I've been enjoying the playoffs so much that I love as much hockey as I can get. But I think it'll be over tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Shea, you heard it. He's just like Mark Messier. It's guaranteed it's over tonight.
What?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Okay, fair enough.
I can't take you now. Hang around. We're gonna start drinking our wine.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
I'm not. There you are.
All right. Listen, I've got waiting in the wings. Of course, is James Murphy. How do you follow that up? Well, you follow it up with this guy, the Murph. What's going on, bud?
How you doing, buddy? How's life?
Time hearing. I'm not sure if it's me or you, but I can play this game. I can do without you. Got a couple questions for you. Obviously, I want to know what your thoughts are about tonight. Do you think it's over? I know we've talked about it on previous occasions. You heard it from Kevin Shea, the Messier guarantee. Your thoughts?
It's over. I told you this last night, too. It's over. We've discussed this. It's over. The Tampa Bay Lightning dynasty ends tonight in Denver, and the Colorado Avalanche will hoist the Stanley Cup, and Cal McCarr will hoist the Conn Smythe Trophy.
Keep going.
Well, yeah, you got some reception problems going on there, my friend. You sound like Mr. Roboto Man.
No. I've been so busy today. I'll tell you what. You know what happened?
He was kissing me
I
goodbye.
was kissing Kevin goodbye. We're going to have a glass of wine right after. I'm going to ask you one more question.
I'm having one right now, my friend. Have it with me.
I'm going to go off the screen because I got to plug in my laptop. All right,
Oh,
listen.
gee.
Here's another question. John LaRoche is coming on all the way from Thailand. I've had Kevin Shea here all the way from Ajax, and now I've got you in Boston. And of course, here's the question: Brandon Point scores the winner, 4-3. Your thoughts?
My thoughts is, John's having a great time in Bangkok, and I don't blame him. But those Mai Tais are kicking in there. Not happening.
It's gonna.
I'll keep talking, I guess. You guys.
You gotta keep. You gotta plug the. I gotta plug the laptop.
All right, my friend. Well, let me tell you this. Here's what I think about the game. Here's what I think about the game tonight. We'll factor in a little gambling picks, as I always like to do. One thing I will say, guys, is that in an elimination game, you figure that the team that has a chance to clinch is going to come out and throw everything but the kitchen sink at them to really set the tone and put it home early. However, I think that Tampa has a type of team where they can defend against that. They're going to go into a tight, shell around their net, push everything to the outside. So what I would say is bet the hell out of shots from any Colorado defenseman, like whether it be Devin Taves, who I believe had like 6 or 7 shots the last game, or Cal McCarr, obviously. Really hone in on shots from defensemen there because that's what they're going to be forced to do early on. But I think as the game goes on, the Lightning wear down. I think what we're seeing right now, and look, this is no knock on the Tampa Bay Lightning because to me, they are a dynasty and they go down with the likes of the Pittsburgh Penguins, the old Boston Bruins, the Edmonton Oilers, the New York Islanders. They're in there now, man. Because you know why?
The Montreal Canadian.
Well, let me ask you something. Gooch.
You can ask me.
Has done what they have done, A, in the salary cap era.
No, okay, that's right. Okay? I'll give you that.
And B, in a pandemic. I mean, think about it. Gooch, I'll tell you just as a hockey
reporter. There's got to be an asterisk there, of course.
No, but it should be an asterisk. Yeah, but see, I hate that, Gooch, because I think that asterisk should favor the Lightning.
No, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, because think about it. Like, I'm telling you right now, I was just talking about this with my girlfriend, and I was saying, I said, Stephanie, I don't really know when the last time I had an extended break was. I feel like I've been working this one long season. It's all blurred into one for the last 2.5 years through this pandemic, because let's face it, the seasons went longer than expected. Then they started almost right away after that. There's been no break. So I'm just a reporter, my lazy ass sitting in a chair typing. I can't imagine what it's like to play playoff hockey back to back to back like this all the way to the Stanley Cup final. These guys deserve a lot of props, but I think what happened is they're human beings, and I think it's caught up to them, and I think the run ends tonight.
Thank you for that. I agree with you 100%. Listen, I've played many games in my entire life, and playoffs are the most grinding. It's one thing to play 82 games in the regular season, but if you're going deep and long into the playoffs, which the Tampa Bay have done, that's taking nothing away from the Colorado Avalanche. This is a team that's built to win the Stanley Cup. Nobody's been better than McCarr. I just love this kid, and I'll tell you what, the tandem goaltending for the Colorado Avalanche has done a remarkable job. But I'm going to say this. I think tonight we are going to see the best out of Vasilevsky, and he can certainly steal this game tonight, and I wouldn't discount that. And John LaRoche is just clarifying. He writes 5-5-5-5-5, and I'm thinking, hang on a sec, what does that mean? And then he clarifies it. 5-5-5. 5 means ha in Thai. Remember the year before the first cup, they won the President Trophy. They are a dynasty. Absolutely agreed. They went out quickly in the playoffs, don't forget. Hey, listen, Robbie's coming in. Can you tell me about the Ice Hockey Classic, more specifically for the New Zealand? Robbie, please, you can do me a favor right now, if you don't mind. I think you've already done it. Please send me right now an email to Goulet, Goulet 29 at 29sports.com, and I'll send that out to you. Lots of great news coming about that incredible 3-on-3 tour that we're going to do in October. All right, I want to ask you a couple more questions on the Tampa Bay Lightning, Colorado Avalanche as they prepare for Game 5. But then after it's done, I want to talk to you about 2 coaching things that have come up since last night, and I want to hear your opinion. Talk to me about this Colorado Avalanche team. They've got 3.59 goals for in these playoffs versus 3.05 for the Tampa Bay Lightning. That in itself is incredible. But the most incredible stat, and this is where Tampa Bay has to be more disciplined, 33.9% for the power play for the Colorado Avalanche. That's a great number when you think about it, just in the playoffs, when everything's heightened and defensive is more obviously looked upon. The Tampa Bay Lightning are only sitting at 20. That's what's Kucherov, Stamkos, Hedman, those type of players. I'm concerned if Tampa Bay does not remain disciplined tonight and they run around and get themselves in trouble, you're right, this is over. I believe the first 10 minutes of this game will set the tempo. Want to hear your thoughts.
Well, I completely agree. I mean, you look at any team when you're facing elimination, right? And look, I've covered teams on both sides of it. I saw the Boston Bruins in 2010 completely choke and blow a 3-0 series lead against the Philadelphia Flyers and a 3-0 lead in Game 7, okay? But usually what we see in terms of a team facing elimination is, you know, they're going to go out there and they're kind of going to, you know, I think I've said this on a previous show. They're going to take that Rocky 3 approach where, you know, Rocky was looking at Clubber Lang going, come on, hit me with your best punch. Hit me with your best punch. Come on, come on, come on. You ain't so bad. You ain't so bad. And they want to tire him down, right? They want Tampa to just feed off that momentum early. And if they can withstand that, and I think if you're that team and you're facing the elimination right now and you come out of the first period down 1-0, I think that's a win, right? Because you think of how much pressure right now is on Colorado to really just come in and put the dagger in them. If they can't do it after one period, they go into that locker room and they're human and things can start to creep into your mind and be like, uh-oh, this isn't going as we planned. Yeah. And, you know, these guys aren't going away. They're not going away easy. The thing is, I think with Colorado that's going to their advantage right now, Gouche, is that you look at what they've been through the last few years, right? And it's kind of like Tampa when they built up to their dynasty run.
Sure.
They've weathered storm. They've learned lessons. They've had devastating defeats, and they know what it's like, and they know that nothing can be taken for granted. And I think that's why even if they do come out of this first period 0-0 or 1-0, I still think they can get that other level going as the game goes on. And that's when, as we just referenced, the tired legs of the Tampa Bay Lightning start to kick in. Yeah. Nobody's questioning what Vasilevsky's going to do. We all know he's nasty. We all know he's going to be amazing, right? It's just how much more amazing can Colorado be than him? That's the big question there. But I think they can do it. And I think they know that if you let this one slip away, all right, you're letting doubt creep into your own minds, and you're letting confidence creep into the minds of Tampa Bay. And I think it does come back to Denver for a Game 7 if they lose tonight.
Game 4 is the toughest one to shut down, and I think tonight you're
in Game 5.
Everything you got in Tampa Bay, you're going to throw everything they got at it. And again, I'll agree with you. They are a dynasty. Listen, I want to talk to you a little bit about, obviously, the too many men gate. I think it's over. I think we push that aside now. Let's just concentrate on this game tonight. This game should be the best game of the series. I think it's going to be a close game. I predict that it's going to be a 4-3 win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I know that after I had Kevin Shea here doing the Mark Messier guarantee, I think it's crazy. I know, but I just believe I'm being selfish. I want a couple more games. This season we've seen some great hockey. The Nazem Kadri goal to end the last game, regardless with the Watergate and the too many men gate, that was a phenomenal game, a phenomenal goal to end that game. I think we're going to see more of that tonight. Your thoughts, James?
Well, I'm with you, Gouche. I mean, I think that, look, every time I watch, if it's not a Game 7, right, and it ends in 4 or 5 or 6 games, the Stanley Cup final, that is, it is just sort of like, oh man, there's no hockey tomorrow. There's no hockey in 2 days. What the heck do I do with myself right now? Well, I mean, as a reporter, I'm going to have plenty to do because we get the draft coming up and then free agency. But as a fan, I'm kind of like, you always look forward to that, right? I mean, it's something you always like to have on in the background, whether you're watching it closely or whether we're kicking back. And hopefully I can do that with you up in Toronto sometime soon, just having a couple drinks and you always got a hockey game in the background. I like that. So, yeah, I am a little sad that this could be the end of that. But at the same time, I'll tell you this now. I think there's been one Stanley Cup clincher that I haven't seen on a TV or in person in the last 20 years, and that was 2002 when the Red Wings beat the Carolina Hurricanes. But I did make a point to listen to it on the radio. I was in Castle Island in South Boston, partaking in some adult fun, shall I say. And, I kept the radio on in the car listening to that, and people were like, "You're a whack job, man. Why?" I'm like, "Because I need to keep the tradition alive. I love the Stanley Cup clincher. I need to still somehow be connected here." And of course, now with social media, it's easy.
Game 5, and we're really
it is one of the best. It is one of the best things to see ever. And I am looking forward to seeing that cup get hoisted, and I think it's going to happen tonight.
Your prediction?
My prediction tonight would be a 5-2 Avalanche win.
It's either going to be that or be a close one, and I'm going 4-3. Let's see who wins it.
And by the way, Gouche, no offense to your friend Kevin there, but you're the one making the Messier prediction because you're down in a series. But you can't make a Messier prediction when you're up 3-1.
He just did. I did. He said they're winning it tonight.
That's not Messier, man. That's
all
like,
right, listen.
I mean, him and me right now are making an easy call right now. We're taking the Avalanche. That's easy.
I know.
Kudos to you for having some balls and making a bold prediction.
Everybody knows that I don't take the easy route. That's for sure. Listen, great season. Best teams have won. Sorry, Toronto. Dig. That's not me. That's John Raj doing a little bit of thing. All right, listen. Let's talk.
Everybody's going to take jabs at Toronto all the time, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about this. As I wrap, I know you're very busy. You got to get ready.
No, I'm good, man. My night's over. You got me the rest of the show, buddy, if you want.
Patrick Bergeron meeting with the Bruins GM to talk about his future next week. Is he going to be a Bruins? Is he going to be playing? Is he going to be on another team, Montreal? Or will he end up just calling it a career?
You're all about the Mark Messier predictions, huh? Montreal and the Patrice Bergeron? Not happening. But I will tell you that, yes, I have confirmed. Of course, my old colleague actually broke this story last night. Joe McDonald, he works with the Worcester Telegram Gazette. That's a city kind of in central Massachusetts, about an hour west of Boston. But he used to work with me at ESPN and ESPN Boston. Great guy, very connected, still has his sources. And he broke the story last night that Patrice Bergeron has agreed in principle to sign a 1-year contract with the Boston Bruins. It appears it will be somewhere in the range of $6 to $6.5 million and incentive laden. I then confirmed a lot from my sources today that Joe is absolutely right. And that should be done, I would say, by Monday, Tuesday at the latest. I will even say this, that I know some people that have interviewed for the coaching job with the Boston Bruins. And they were informed in their interview that there was a very, very likely chance that if they got the job, they would be coaching Patrice Bergeron and have him as their captain. So it looks like he's coming back, which I think is, it's great. We'll do it at another show. I'm actually going to write this column this weekend, so maybe we can kind of feed off it Monday when I talk to you. I don't think. I know this sounds crazy, but this is just short and sweet of it. I don't think this is the best thing for the big picture when it comes to the Boston Bruins now, is that Patrice Bergeron's coming back, because I think it brings them into a false sense of security that they're still Stanley Cup contenders and that they're going to contend for the Cup maybe this year and next, which they're not. Brad Marchand and Charlie McAvoy will be out to December, Matt Grzelcyk till November. This is a team that I think by American Thanksgiving will be out of the playoff race and is headed for mediocrity until they accept the fact that they need to blow it up and rebuild. And bringing Patrice Bergeron back, well, I love it. I love the fact that I'll get to interview him every day again, because he's literally my favorite player I've ever coached or ever covered. But it's not a good thing for the Boston Bruins in their future.
All right, listen, obviously other news that is breaking. Barry Trotz has informed the Winnipeg Jets he is not returning to coaching this year. He wants to take a year off, which is understandable. I think this is devastating for the Winnipeg Jets. I thought he was the perfect fit. Of course, just really quickly, your thoughts on that.
Well, I wonder, Gouche, and look, first of all, I kind of expected this. I mean, the more we heard about it, the more you talk to people around the league, people that know Barry, is that, I mean, let's face it, man, the guy's been going 23 years straight. We talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning getting tired after 3 years of this. I mean, this guy's been going 23 years straight in the NHL as a head coach. Think about that. It's time for him to just live his life, right? And I think what's going to happen is he's going to take a nice little break. He's gonna reconnect with his family and really just breathe and probably gain some much needed rest and health. And I think we'll see him come back in a management capacity, whether it's as an assistant GM, a president of hockey operations, or a general manager somewhere. I think he comes back in that capacity in 2 to 3 years. But the one thing I wonder right now, as far as Winnipeg goes, they're kind of screwed right now because I think whether they're right or they were wrong to do so, were kind of putting all their money in on Barry to come take that job. And meanwhile, they see a guy like Bruce Cassidy become available and they don't even jump on him. They don't even interview him. They let him just go whoop, right to the Vegas Golden Knights. And now, I mean, and not that there's not good choices out there, but, I don't know if the guy they need is out there right now.
I'm going to disagree with you.
The guy that resigned, and he's now the coach of Florida.
James, I'm going to disagree with you. The right guy is right in front of them, and I can predict it right now. You heard it first on Gouche Live. I think James Patrick will be the next head coach of the Winnipeg Jets.
So that's my first two names minus my last name because I am James Patrick Murphy. So I like that bet, and I always liked him just for that sake. My dad used to always say, "You got to get his jersey." Just for the fact that he's James Patrick.
And a great guy.
I like it. I think that's a good call, Gooch. I think another guy to keep an eye on. And he's been working his way up the ladder. He deserves a shot. And he's on that staff as well. And that's Pascal Vincent. I know him long ago when I worked with the Montreal Juniors. The guy knows his stuff. He's good with the young players. He's a good guy to have this transitional period with. But I like the James Patrick call as well. It's going to be very interesting to see where they go. My thing with you, Gooch, and I don't know if you'll agree with me, is I don't know if Kevin Cheveldayoff is the guy to go forward with.
He's not.
That's the guy I don't like.
The Cheveldayoff plan, along with the Shanahan plan, they're not working, guys. I think it's time to – if I'm going to recreate, I'm going to recreate in the general manager position.
What's the definition of insanity again? Right? I mean,
Einstein said it, just keep on doing the same thing. Hey, listen, here's a cool comment. Babcock will return. Again, 555 is ha, ha, ha. Thank you, John, for adding a little bit of poetic license here. Final part, I want to talk to you. The Chicago Blackhawks are close to signing Luke Richardson from the Montreal Canadiens. Is it official?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing as we got going with some of the other coaches right now. It's the same thing we got going with like Patrice Bergeron. It's there. It's just the lawyers getting things done right now. He will be the coach of the Chicago Blackhawks.
Okay, quickly tell me your thoughts.
Loss for the Montreal Canadiens, Gooch. I'll tell you that. He was a beloved coach on that staff. He really did a good job with their defensemen, and he was really kind of the right guy to have right now because he's so good with young kids, and you look at all the defensemen that the Montreal Canadiens have coming right now.
100%.
That's a tough loss.
No, I agree with you wholeheartally. I've met him twice, and he's just a very, very humble, very nice guy.
And let's not forget, right about this time, right, was, I guess probably more a week ahead. We're a week behind it. But remember, during the Stanley Cup final, he took over for Dominique Ducharme when Ducharme tested positive for COVID. And I'm telling you, when I talked to some of those Canadiens players, they loved it when he was the head coach there. I just wrote a story, actually, Gooch, right before we came on. That's why I was late. In kind of poking around and doing my due diligence, found some good candidates for the assistant coach job there in Montreal. And I'll tell you one that I think would be great for the Bruins-Canadiens rivalry. Actually, two would be great right now for the Bruins-Canadiens rivalry is if they hired Ulf Samuelsson as an assistant coach.
Hello, here we go.
Would that not be to Cam Neely right there? I mean, yes, and then, of course, Kevin Dean, who was just fired by Bruce Cassidy before Bruce Cassidy got fired. What team lets a guy fire an assistant before you fire him? I don't know. That's a whole nother story. But Kevin Dean would be another good guy. He's been with the Boston Bruins organization for 11 years. He could give them a lot of secrets on their arch rival.
All right, listen. I've got breaking news. I can't tell you where it came from. Luke Richardson is the new coach for the Chicago Blackhawks.
There we go.
James, we will get you Monday. Don't forget, we want all the tidbits after this Stanley Cup win I think we're going to go to Sunday.
Hey, what are you backtracking there, buddy?
No, it's going to Game 6 for sure.
Okay, Game 6, but that will be before Monday.
All right, so Sunday we'll talk before Game 6.
Do what you got to do, brother. I'll be here for you.
James, Murph.
Have a good one, man.
All right, buddy. See you, kid. Hey, listen, just before we go, I got to sit down with my good friend. Kevin Shea popped in. Burnt Ship Bay. Unbelievable. We're going to have a little sip of that wine. Listen, as I wrap this up, thank you, Robbie Rays Daly, all the way from Australia. Do you guys know about the Australian and New Zealand League? That's something you can follow in the offseason. Yes, we do. That's why we're coming down. That's why we've been coming down the last 8 years. We're so involved with the Australian Ice Hockey League and the Ice Hockey Australia. Of course, very important parts to our promotion that we bring down every year. And of course, New Zealand Ice Hockey Federation is being run by two class guys, Carl McIntyre doing a phenomenal job, and the president, Andy, I dropped his name right now. I'll figure it out in a second. Andy Mills has done a marvelous job with the New Zealand Ice Hockey Federation and the league. We're really enthralled by the fact that we can work with them and bring you the Ice Hockey Threes. It's coming down to New Zealand and Australia in October. Don't miss it. I'll tell you what, today my phone has been ringing off the hook. You can't believe some of the players that have just recently retired that have thrown their name in the hat to come down and entertain you in October. So all you Australian fans, get ready. This is going to be a big one. Hey, you've been watching Gouche Live right here at the bottom line, 22 Front Street, a stone throw away from the Hockey Hall of Fame. And of course, where the Toronto Maple Leafs are playing golf, a golf course just down there. Where the Toronto Maple Leafs play. Thank you for being a part of the Gouche Live tonight. Brought to you by those good people at the Hockey News and, of course, the bottom line. Good night.
You've been listening to Gouche Live with your host, Kerry Goulet, better known as The Gooch, brought to you by the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated.